Assalamualaikum and good morning to each and everyone. I am Kalipa together with my co-reporter Mr. Nurol-am Lali, and we are the reporter number 27. Our topic is all about social protection. Before we start, here are the objectives. First, to define what is social protection. Second, to identify the components of social protection. And the last is to analyze the different components of social protection. What is social protection? Social protection is defined as the set of policies and programs designed to reduce poverty and vulnerability by promoting efficient labor markets, diminishing people's exposure to risk, and enhancing their capacity to protect themselves against hazards and interruption, loss of income. So, ibig sabihin nito is ang social protection is tumutulong or nagpo-protect through program and policies para ma-reduce ang kahirapan at kahinaan ng mga tao, katulad ng pagtataguyod ng mga mahusay na mga labor markets at iba pa na maaaring makatulong or makaprotect sa atin laban sa kahirapan. The components of social protection. Number 1, labor market. Number 2, social insurance. Number 3, social assistance and welfare service. Number 4, micro and area-based schemes. Number 5, child protection. Labor market programs support the development of job-relevant skills and workers' retraining, particularly the low-skilled and marginalized. They also facilitate employment. Key sectors that may serve as entry points for promoting and expanding labor market programs include education and infrastructure, energy, information and communication technology, water, and transport. So, ibig sabihin nito, sinusuportahan ng mga programa sa labor market ang pagbuo ng mga kasanayang nauugnay sa trabaho at muling pagsasanay ng mga manggagawa, particular ito sa mga taong mababa ang skill at marginalized. Pinapadali din nila ang trabaho, kabilang sa mga pangunahing sektor ng maaaring magsilbing entry point para sa pagtataguyod at pagpapalawak ng mga programa sa labor market ay ang edukasyon at infrastructure. Types of labor market. Active labor market policies and programs, pre-employment training, skills and development and upgrading, public workers, matching supply and demand for labor. Passive labor market policies and programs, compliance with core labor standards, job security provisions, improving working conditions. Social insurance. Social insurance programs mitigate risks by providing income support in the event of illnesses, disability, working injury, maternity, unemployment, old age, and death. Key sectors that may serve as entry points for strengthening sustainable social insurance schemes include financial sector development, health, and public sector management. Social protection is a human right. It ensures access to health care and income security for all. It provides for you and your family when you are sick, unemployed, injured, pregnant, or too old to work. It provides support for your family in case something happens to you. Ang mga programa sa social insurance ay nagpapagaan ng mga risk sa pamamagitan ng pagbibigay ng suporta sa kita kung sakaling magkasakit, kapansanan, pinsala sa trabaho, katandaan at kamatayan. Kabilang sa mga pangunahing sektor na maaaring magsilbi bilang mga entry point para sa pagpapalakas ng sustainable social insurance scheme ay ang pagpapaunlad ng sektor ng pananalapi, kalusugan at pamamahala ng pampublikong sektor. Types of social insurance: pensions, social security systems, provident funds, health insurance, small farmer agricultural insurance, unemployment insurance.
Assalamualaikum and good day. By the way, I am Nurol-am Lali, BSSW 2A. Now, let us proceed to the third components of social protection, the social assistance. The social assistance and welfare services provide a protections to those who cannot qualify for insurance payments or would otherwise receive inadequate benefits. So itong social assistance na ito ay binigay or provide na tulong para sa mga taong nangangailangan at hindi sila qualify para sa payment ng insurance. So ito yung mga taong nahihirapan mag-payment sa mga insurance. Ang halimbawa nito ay pagbibigay ng mga cash assistance sa mga estudyante para sa pambili nila ng mga gamit sa kanilang pag-aaral at assistance sa mga senior citizen at marami pang iba. Now let us proceed to the social assistance interventions may includes A. Welfare and social services, institutionalized or community-based to highly vulnerable sections of the populations such as the physically or mentally disabled, orphans, and the substance abusers. B. Cash or in-kind transfers such as food stamps and family allowance to the vulnerable groups. C. Temporary subsidies, so such as energy, life, land traffics, housing subsidies, or support of lower price of stable food in the times of crisis. And safeguards, so attention should be paid to the possible short-term negative impacts of the policy reforms. And now, let us proceed to the fourth components of social protections. So, protecting the informal sectors, micro and area-based SIMs. Protecting the informal sector, micro and area-based SIMs provide the same sort of social protections to small-scale agriculture in the urban informal sector that the more traditional social insurance programs supply to the labor force. So microinsurance offers the opinion to insure the poor against their main risks at the affordable prices. So crop insurance programs can provide the protections necessary to encourage the adoptions of new and innovations farming techniques. So they have a removing important barrier to economic development in the rural areas. So under the fourth component of social protections, the microinsurance, so involves voluntary and contributory schemes for the community handling small-scale cash flows to address a major community risks, often such as schemes are of local character and have a very small membership. So the primary aim of many of these schemes is to help their members meet the unpredictable burden of out-of-the-pocket expenses such as the hospital emergency, death, or the funeral expenses. Now, let us proceed to the agricultural insurance. So this form of protections could be available for farming communities. So it is a financially mechanism in which the uncertainty of loss in the farms of minimized by pooling a large number of uncertainties that impact on agriculture so that the burden of loss can be distributed. And the social funds. Social funds have evolved recently outside the Asia and the Pacific region as the mechanism to channel public resources to meet the particularly pressing social needs. Community-based social funds are agencies typically managed at the local level, empowering communities, NGOs, and local governments that provide finance for small-scale projects such as infrastructure schemes and livelihood programs to community groups. And disaster preparedness and management. So, victims of catastrophes are usually assisted by the public relief programs. And however, given the important economic and the human loss caused by disasters, the critical issue is to invest disaster preparedness. So ito ay nabuo upang maiwasan, mapaghandaan ang mga sakuna na posibleng mangyari sa isang lugar. At nagkakaroon ng mga pag-aaral or seminar para mapaghandaan ang mga pangyayaring hindi kanais-nais. And now let us proceed to the fifth components of social protections, which is the child protections. So investment in children is a key factor in poverty reductions and economic growth, but is usually a small proportion of national budgets, despite ample evidence that the small investment currently made bring considerable future benefits to social as a whole. So high child-adult dependency ratio indicate the needs to provide the social protections for a young, such as the early child development to ensure the balanced psychomotor development of the child through basic nutrition, preventive health, and educational programs. B. School feedings programs. So school feedings programs, scholarship or school free waivers. C. Waiving of fees for mothers and children in the health services. And street children. Being initiatives. E. Child rights advocacy and awareness programs. So against child abuse, child labor, and etc. F. Youth programs. To avoid a social phenomena, teenagers, criminality, sexuality transmitted disease such as HIV/AIDS, early pregnancies, and drugs addictions. And last, G. Family allowances. Either means tested cash transfers or coupons, stamps for basic goods and services. Example, the food, clothing, to assist families with young children to meet the part of their basic needs. So that's all. Thank you for listening.